What up? It's your boy Nick Incredible Man. Yes, I am back at it again, and this is 911 Season 4, Episode 5. And I thought adoption was on the table, but that's not the case. And we're dealing with so much more emotional drama. And hands down, best episode thus far. Let's get it, man. I'm gonna be 100%, man. This episode was packed with so much emotion, man, and so much drama. And we had one case this entire episode, and then we're dealing with flashbacks and Buck processing everything. And this episode was the evolution of Evan Buckley, because we see what he went through being, I guess you could say, like the donor for his brother. And his parents never looked at him that way, but that's once he found out about everything, that's how he felt. And seeing him through all those flashbacks, his parents never really let go of the grief of losing their child. And that's very valid, because a lot of people, when they lose that child, it's very hard on a lot of people. And they never really grieved and never let go of that love that they had for the child. And it's valid, but at the same time, you have two other kids that you can't actually really devote your time and love to, because you're still focused on the one that died already, which is, like I said, it's very valid. But we see that Buck starts to hurt himself and just do horrible things to himself just to receive their attention, because when he received their attention, when he was hurt or whatever, they would shower him with love and give him treats and goodies and buy him things. So that's the way Buck felt like that was the only way he could receive love and attention from his parents. And that's so sad, man. And I don't blame his parents, because grief is a hard thing anyway. But at the same time, you can't grieve for your son that you lost and then ignore your other two kids like they don't exist at all, and give them sprinkles of affection and hope that they turn out all right. That's why Buck and Maddie had the problems that they had. That's why Buck, bounced from woman to woman. That's why Maddie stuck with Doug so long, because they felt like they needed that extra love that they could never get from their parents. And that's very evident this episode, as we see through all of the flashbacks. And it's just hardcore, man. And this was hands down my favorite episode out of all of the seasons, like season 1, 2, 3, and everything that we've gotten in season 4 thus far. Like, I know there's been some great stuff, but like this just hit on so many different levels, because we're dealing with so much stuff. But we see the light at the end of the tunnel for Buck, because at the end of the episode, he reconciles with Maddie. He ends up reconciling with his parents, and the whole case, like we see him trying to prove something to himself with the case that takes place this episode, because he's trying to, well, first of all, he does what Buck does. He puts everything on the line, and that's what we love about the character. But he's trying to prove something to himself this episode in that entire case as well. And when he saves Salah, or Sella, however you want to say it, he's trying to prove something to himself. And when it's all said and done, he feel like he can't really do it. The 118 comes in and helps out, man. And we see that the 118 became that love and that family that Buck could never really obtain from his actual family, besides Maddie. But after learning everything, he sees that Maddie didn't really have his side, because she never told him the truth and she never left with him. But then at the very ending of the episode, we see why Maddie couldn't go with him and why she wrote the note. Doug had beat the brakes off her, and she didn't want Buck to see her like that. Because let's be honest, had Buck seen her like that, the instant, he would have murdered Doug on the spot. And she didn't want to ruin Buck. She didn't want to ruin Buck's life at all with her drama, because she was always that strong foundation for Buck. And seeing her vulnerable in that state would probably rock Buck to his core. And oh my gosh, man, we get to see the evolution of Buck throughout all of the years. The little kid Buck, the teenager, the adolescent. We get to see all those different stages of Buck. The college student, the guy that's roaming around the country. And seeing all those postcards that he kept sending Maddie, and her just kind of living that joyous life through him, because you know she was kind of trapped in that weird situation with Doug, and her having those moments to live and see how her brother's living was nice, man. And we get that moment where Buck realizes that he wants to be a firefighter. He goes to LA, he tries out, he becomes a probation firefighter, and then boom bam, we get to see the Evan Buckley that we see today. Buck went through a lot of stuff. He's been a ranch hand, a construction worker, a mixologist. Buck's done a lot of stuff. And so, like, I guess that's where a lot of stuff comes in with him in the previous seasons on certain cases, and he has a lot of life experience because Buck just decided to travel around the country. Man, this episode was great. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it was just such a fantastic episode, and it got real emotional. I'm gonna be 100% watching this. I shed a couple tears, man, because this was real, and that's what 911 does and brings to the table. I can't even talk. Table every time is the realness of everything, man. And we get to see him reconcile with his parents and Maddie, and it was just such a nice episode, man. Buck comes in and he doesn't have one of those boxes because their parents' love had kind of shifted by the time he was born. But Maddie kept all of his postcards, which was crazy, man. That was nice. But like I said, I thought adoption was on the table, but like he's their actual son. But I feel like them not showing love to him and Maddie, I feel like that's way worse than being adopted. Like, because he's their actual son, and like he never really received that affection from his parents, and it's just, that's messed up, man. And I know adoption is off the table, but like had adoption been on the table and that was the case, I feel like it wouldn't have made the situation better, but it would have I guess you can kind of say it would have set things a little different. I mean, if you adopt someone, you should shower them with love as well. Don't adopt kids and then, you know, when you can't give them true affection. If you can't do that, leave these kids alone. But I would understand, you know, because a lot of people have a hard time like if they were to adopt someone and then like they adopted this kid to replace their other son, and they can't really give him the love that he needs because their mind and their focus is still on their other son. But Buck is their son as well, and their mind and focus was still on their other son, and they couldn't shower him with the love that he needed, or Maddie. So like, but it's nice to see that they kind of reconciled a little bit. And oh my gosh, this was just a heartbreaking episode, but the resolution at the end of the episode was what made this episode worthwhile, because you enjoyed everything that took place and you felt everything that was happening in this entire episode. And this was the evolution of Evan Buckley, man. This your boy Dick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.